You know that artist that you think should be bigger than they are, the one that you feel like should be at the top of the charts, but just can't seem to get into the top 10, maybe even the top 50. I know that so many of you comment on my videos saying they are an underrated artist, this person's an underrated artist. So today I thought that I would find the most underrated artist. This is the Pop Pod. I am Pop Sam Cam, and I am joined by some very good friends to help me discuss underrated artists, and I think that they know a thing or two about them. I have Abby from Australia's Triple J, and I also have Nick from Australia's The Hit Network, both on radio, almost on radio at the same time, but we just figured out not quite. But you're enemies, and you're enemies in this game, and I am enemies of you as well, but I am very gracious right now that you came and joined me. How are you both?
It is on. I'm going to beat you all. Find the most underrated. I'm very passionate about my choices.
Before you got on the call,
we are
Sam,
trying to
and
big
Nick,
up the artist while also tearing each other down.
100%. We were just menacingly kind of swirling our iced coffees at one another and not really speaking much. So it's about to go down.
Yeah, in the green room beforehand, it was a very, very icy sort of temperature between us. So I feel like we're ready to battle. The way that this is going to happen, well, before we do that, if you love this episode, you should follow or subscribe to the podcast, and you should rate it 5 stars. If you don't like the episode, it's probably because of these two, so not worth giving it anything less than 5 stars. We'll just do a better episode next time. The way we're going to do this is we're each going to go through and give one choice each. We'll weigh in on each of them. And then at the end, we're going to come up with our top 3 most underrated artists. I don't know what your choices are. You don't know what my choices are. We're going to start with Abby. Give us your first underrated artist.
Okay, this was the first artist that came to mind, and though my list shifted since you first put this question to me, this was the one name that remained. You can spell it forwards, you can spell it backwards. My first artist is Yebba.
On the mantle, right by my cigarettes that I smoked since you left, 'cause you said you had to fly in your October sky. La, da, 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 da.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, so I've gone with Yebba.
Damn, I didn't even think of her. She wasn't even in my choices.
That's how underrated she is that she's not even making your choices. I think that she is someone who, she just isn't in the zeitgeist as much as I feel like she deserves to be. In my mind, she is, you know, she should be like Adele level, but I know that she's very, as a personality, very low key, but she is that kind of intersection between like a SZA and an Adele. And in my mind, it's crazy that her collaborations are almost like what her legacy is at the moment in music. And that is why I'm like, we need to get her up there. Like, Yebba's Heartbreak can't be the reason why we know the name Yebba. That record In Dawn from 2021 is, I was just rinsing it this morning and I was like, wow, this sounds as fresh, even though that was only 4 years ago, but that album stands on its legs even in 2025. And I feel like it's one of those albums that you could release any year and it sounds so current. So Yebba's my number one. I'm going into bat for her.
Hell yeah.
That is a really good choice. That record is amazing. October Sky is a vocal masterclass, as well as a lyrical masterclass. I remember hearing that for the first time and being like, this is what it feels like to be stabbed in the heart and just bleed out, because it is incredible. And you're right, like, her legacy at the moment is her features that she's done for people like fucking Drake, of all people. So like, the fact that she hasn't had that record that's like connected on a mainstream level, but like what are the Yebba heads? I don't know what the fan name is, but I'm a Yebba head, a self-described Yebba head. Yeah, that is a really good underrated artist. Nick, how do you feel about Yebba?
Yeah, very, very strong first one from you, Abby. I still remember, like, I think it was around the time that Sam Smith was having the biggest moments of their success. Yebba kind of came through as like a female alternative to Sam Smith, but in this very understated and kind of, it's all about the voice and the lyrics kind of way. It wasn't about the personality. And I always kind of love that. I kind of love when you're either like personality plus as a pop star, or you are zero about the kind of personality and you make it all about the music. I still remember her coming through as that initially. And I think as well, like, she's one of those excuse me, she's one of those artists. She's very much like every artist you talk to cites her as an influence, especially if they're in that kind of soul leaning kind of space. But obviously her ability to kind of transcend genre as well, very strong contender, and making me question my choices already.
Wow.
It's making me question mine as well. I feel like I haven't. Anyway, I can always change on the spot. I'll just chuck Yebba in as my third choice if I feel like I'm losing. Okay, Nick, you're up next. Give us your underrated artist.
All right, I'm going to go with another vocal powerhouse, but they're also a powerhouse writer, also a personality plus kind of pop star. The person I'm going to put forward is the superstar that should be MNEK.
My heart is certain it's more than a crush, 'cause I'm frozen in motion and my head tells me to stop, but my heart goes.
This guy has been at
I
the
thought you were going to do my
forefront.
one for a minute there. It's very close. I will say.
I'm very
Go on.
intrigued now. I just think, like, for over a decade now, has been releasing music, but also shaping the sound of the future. I mean, the work they did that he did with Little Mix to kind of shape their sound and create a really specific kind of British girl pop sound, and now he's doing that with Flo for the next generation. Obviously, the work with Beyonce, Kylie, him and Zara Larsson have had over a 10-year collaboration that looks like it's continuing to propel her. I think she's about to have one of her biggest moments of her career. And also just as a solo performer, like a charismatron on the stage. Never Forget You had amazing chart success and felt like it was going to set both of them up. And every time he releases music, it's kind of in a different way. He can do garage music, he can do house music in such an incredible way. Of course, Head and Heart with Joel Corey was a massive moment for him. And it feels like he keeps kind of bursting forward and then we forget about him again. And I think people need to take stock on what he's done for over a decade, despite him just turning 30, and realize that he is
What? Are
a
you kidding me?
superstar. Yeah, he's so young. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Oh, God.
A star.
What am I doing?
What do y'all think?
I'm a big MNEK fan. Like, I think that he is a phenomenal... I feel like in the studio he must just be a gun, because what he's gotten out of Flo and what he's getting out of Zara on this most recent record is like really impressive. And you're right, he can traverse so many different genres, but like cohesion is the heart of what he does. You know when it's an MNEK song, but also you're only tapped into what MNEK is doing if you're like a real pop head, you know?
Yes.
Like, it's not something that I don't like. I'm not calling up my mum and chatting about MNEK. To be honest, there's about 3 artists I call my mum up and talk about. It's Ed Sheeran, Lady Gaga, and The Seekers. So MNEK falls very far off that radar, but big fan of his work. Abby, what do you think of MNEK?
Yeah, I feel like I'm not as across MNEK as the two of you. Head and Heart, one of my favorite songs to drop into a DJ set at random, like gorgeous. And also I remember his appearance on Drag Race UK. And speaking of, again, as you said, pop star with personality, I think he was like the guest vocal coach. And I still remember that episode. Am I right in remembering that you, Nick Kelly, had dinner with MNEK with Molly at some point for listeners of the pod, my girlfriend Molly, because that is my memory.
There.
You were there.
You were both there. This is what I know about MNEK, is that you all had dinner with MNEK once before.
And that is why he's on the list.
And I know that it was before, not like Sigrid. It
Troye
was before,
Sivan, I think.
No, it was a
Oh,
Swedish
no, it was.
kind
It was,
of Scandi pop doofsturk.
Girl.
Tuva
Okay, it was.
No, it wasn't. It was before that other woman. The woman that was like Sigrid, but not Sigrid. She's a short woman. Norway. She was
I thought it was, okay.
not Robin.
Dagny.
Are we going to get anywhere on this?
No.
Dagny. Was it?
I'd just like to say, despite my personal connection to MNEK, that is not a conflict of interest, despite the dinner we had 8 years ago. Not a conflict of interest.
I actually forgot about the dinner we had 8 years ago. And had I known what we would be doing today, I would have claimed it as a tax deduction.
Research.
Okay, that is a very good choice. No, it's my turn. It's my turn next. My turn to give you my first underrated artist, and I am going with Whitney Houston. No, I'm not.
Bang.
I was like,
Gotcha. I just really changed the game. She's underrated because she's been unable to release material for the better part of a decade. I am going for my first... I'm just so caught on what to do for my first one. But I think for my first one, I'm going to go with Dawn Richard.
If I beg for it, will you give me off? 'Cause what you need to get to me, it ain't much, it ain't much.
Dawn Richard was part of Danity Kane. She had obviously a pretty shitty time with somebody at the helm who we will not mention on this podcast, but he is currently incarcerated. She then moved on to a group with him and had the song I'm Coming Home, I'm Coming Home. And then just decided to like blow everything open and make the most wild, like conceptual pop songs. Like she was making albums on a shoestring that had the most insane, like visuals, everything that went into it was just so well thought out. And amongst that, just making this like incredible hybrid of pop and electronic music that I think she has some of my favorite songs of all time. Not Above That being one of them, I think is amazing. And I just don't think she ever gets her flowers. And I feel like her run just came too early, because I feel like in this time when we're really appreciating like niche pop music that like skirts around electronic music as well, she would be perfect for right now. So Dawn Richard is my one, and also Damaged by Danity Kane is a bop.
Wow. Incredible put forward. I will shout out to Xander, listener of the podcast and serial pest on the internet, who first showed me Dawn Richard. I remember we were in a car at Terrigal on the Central Coast, and the sun was setting, and he was like, have you heard of Dawn Richard? And I was like, no. And then he played me like a selection of Dawn Richard classics, and I was like, holy shit, like how have I not heard of this person before? And then explained the Danity Kane thing, and of course I was around for Danity Kane. Yeah, just like the way that she has tried different things and just stayed so true to like her own discovery journey. Yeah, she's unbelievable and continues to be unbelievable. And I just think like when it comes to underrated, like she's probably the pinnacle of the concept in a way, because like I think there's so few people who've actually taken the time to dive into her despite the quality of what she was putting out.
Yeah,
it's a
right.
Great one.
Yeah, I
100%.
just feel like she doesn't have any of the recognition that she deserves. Whereas I feel like a lot of the artists that we're going to mention have some kind of platform. She just doesn't really on the level that she should, I feel like. Abby,
feel
are
like
you a
it's
Dawn
also...
Richard head?
I'm not a Dawn Richard head, but I feel, but I'm excited after this to get into the discography. And I feel like it's almost a similar, like the thing that I'm seeing is tying these three artists together, Yebba, MNEK, and Dawn Richard, is that they're characterized by almost other artists and their connections to other artists and other projects rather than the strength of their own output. And so, yeah, with that, I'm like very excited to dive into Dawn Richard. What would you say is like the best entry point? Is there like an album or a single that you should get into to kick you off?
I would just start with Not Above That, because it's literally a perfect song. Like it's up there with some of my favorite songs of all time. So start there. then just go to Dawn Richard Radio and go for your life. Tapping back in, I'm just going to like bring you listeners in on a little bit of behind the scenes because we are having a few connection issues with Abby. So if you felt like our chemistry was totally off, it was none of our fault. We are actually friends in real life and we don't.
I'm not even the digital
usually...
nomad and I'm the one getting iced.
Yeah, you're
bad
on like a
connection.
stable internet connection.
I'm in the same like electorate as Nick. And you're in freaking New York, Sam. Like,
it's really giving digital nomad. You're doing a week in Guatemala, aren't you?
I'm in Seminyak right now. Yeah, for sure. Oh my God.
All right, you are up next, Abby. Give us your second underrated artist.
Okay, my second underrated artist is someone who actually follows Dawn Richard because I did quickly look on her Instagram and I was like, wow, this is Tastemaker Central. We have
I love the
Sam
segue.
Murphy, we have Nick Kelly, we have Addison Rae, we have Anna Luno, who's a fabulous Australian producer and DJ. My second artist is Ravyn Lenae. Now,
Whoa!
I was
Ravyn
so
Lenae.
close to doing this.
You were a part of me, what did I lose? I ran a mile away, what did I lose? Nothing inside of me leads back to you. You said goodbye to me, what did I lose?
this is my thing, and this is what was really interesting about even considering what an underrated artist is, because it's almost like when you first think about it, you're like, okay, is this artist, like I, in my heart of hearts, think that this artist should be as big as like the biggest artists in the world, right? Like the Sabrina Carpenters, the Chappells, the, Charlie whatever. And I was even thinking about artists like Pink Pantheress, but then or like C-Mat, but then I was like, I don't know if they really like, or Renee Rapp, I don't know if they should be in that I know that you've made videos about this before, Sam, about like that kind of A category of like pop star. It's like that B category has to be like fulfilled, you know what I mean? And like sometimes an artist thrives, like a Renee Rapp is someone who I don't think like wants to be a like, A level, A grade pop star and like really thrives in that B category. Ravyn Lenae should be in that A tier category, and I know that Love Me Not was such a big song and it was, song of the summer, such a hit, but I don't think that people are exploring the discography and the catalog as much as they should be. And, I think a lot of people have pinned the, Sabrina Carpenter like opening spot as a big moment for her to like break through that threshold, but I just see that there's so much more growth and room for her to grow and more success for her to find. And so that's why I'm categorizing her right now as underrated artist, even though she has all of these, credits to her name and successes, particularly recently. But I'm like, there's more for her. There's more for her out there.
Hell yeah.
That is such a good point. And the B level pop star thing is particularly good. And you know why Ravyn Lenae like operates as somebody who should be in that A grade? Because she has like discipline and she has vision and she has songs and she has like the ambition to get to that point. And she has it all. Like I've had the pleasure of seeing her perform a couple times over the past year, and she's just got it. Like no matter how many people she's performing in, she brings such a precision to what she's doing. She's got this really like natural storytelling ability, which I think is incredible. And like every so often this dark thought goes through my head of like, what happens if she is just one of those TikTok artists that get one hit? And I just think that would be criminal, because she is so good. That album, like I've got goosebumps speaking about it right now, because days off that album just like kills me. I think it's incredible. Like the fact that she does that song One Wish, which is quite like poppy, quite melodic, but has this like beautiful story about how her dad let her down at a birthday party, and like they've spent the past couple like years repairing their relationship that was quite like ruined while she was a child. I just think like that's a beautiful thing to be able to wrap that up in a pop song. And yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, I could speak about her forever. I think she's a literal angel on earth. Nick, do you feel the same, or do you just hate her?
No, famously not
What
a
a
fan.
loser.
No, honestly, everything you just said is kind of sums up how I feel about her. And yeah, seeing her show, she performed at the Sydney Opera House, which I don't think is a place that needs context for the significance of performing there. And she came into our show a couple of days later, and she told us, like, she said this on stage actually, so it wasn't any exclusive. That, you know, she, on her last visit to Australia, 2019, she went to the Opera House and was like, I'm going to perform there one day, and then came back in 2025 and played a sold out show there. And it's just you're right about the storytelling and just the way that she embraces a crowd, and that's just from the live show perspective. I think the way that her music embraces people, and genre wise, she sits in this fascinating lane of, like, it's not pop, it's not R&B, it's not like alt rock. It's sort of like sitting in the middle of all these things. It's
so
just
ambiguous.
real fucking music. Like, it's just real, you know, this is the kind of, if people talk about real music, you know, with guitars and shit, like, this is what I want that to feel like. This is what I want that to look like. And yeah, I have a feeling she'll be okay in terms of having another proper commercial success, just based on her ability to write a hook and also tell stories at the same time. And I think that fan base is just going to keep building, and she's going to become undeniable as an artist beyond that song.
I had a chat with her at Coachella, and she told me that she'd just, like, been to see Clairo, and usually when another artist tells you they've seen another artist, they're like, oh, they were amazing, and that's where it stops. And she was like, the way that Clairo moves around the stage and the way that she's designed the stage and, like, was pointing out all these details, and she was like, that's very inspiring to me. And I was like, this is a Beyonce level of, like, I'm going to watch people and I'm going to study them, and then I'm going to pull it into this Ravyn Lenae melting pot, and I'm going to make my own, like, soup out of it. And shout out Remy Wolf. And that is just, like, that is why I just think she can be a top tier artist. But Abby, yeah, you killed it with this one. Nick, what is your next one?
Okay, I have a feeling and a concern that this might be on Sam's list in particular, but I'm going to put it out there anyway.
If it is, do I say it?
Yes, I think so. I think so.
And we can ride this one together. We can do a collab post on this.
Love this. Paid partnership.
Taylor Swift and Killer Trav over here.
Your English teacher, your PE teacher, and your music teacher are getting engaged in a polycule. The next artist I want to bring is someone that probably sits in the Dawn Richard lane a little bit. Someone that is a sort of avant-garde art pop connoisseur, has done collaborations with amazing artists, has done incredible work in a duo, but also as a solo artist, can make you dance and cry in the same song. Caroline Polachek is my second underrated artist.
Get a little lonely. Gotta want lost in me. You're the one who knows me best. So hard to hurt in my feelings. Can't be your...
I don't have her.
I was so sure you would.
Denying the invite to collab. Sorry.
Decline. You don't have her either, do you, Abby? I'm on my own with this one.
I don't have her, and I would like to hear your, pitch, because I don't know if she is underrated, in my opinion.
Not think?
I think she's kind of pretty perfectly rated.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. All right. I like this. I'm starting to rub my hands together now.
It's fucking on.
Fight.
I just think, hearing Chairlift at a time when I was starting to learn a lot more about the fringes of pop music and discovering what it can be and how it can be shifted and sort of, played around with. And this was a time when I first was discovering Charlie. Rin Weaver had just put out Octahate at this time when I first discovered Chairlift.
Wow.
That song comes up in my zeitgeist like every month. It's like, and I actually thought about Rin Weaver, and then I was like, no, that was enough, that song. And I just think she hits the kind of medium of artistic and sort of avant-garde, but also like you can play these songs in the club, and you can also play these songs for like moments of quiet introspection. I think on stage, she's a fascinating performer. I think she's an amazing, collaborator as well. Obviously has done stuff with Christine and the Queens and Charlie. And I feel like that fan base she's a kind of a tastemaker's artist. Like, if you know about her, you know deeply about her and you care deeply about her. And I think that mainstream success has just been kind of missing. She's been very stable and very consistent across her career, regardless of whether it's been in Chairlift or solo. But a moment of commercial acclaim and sort of, really breaking through. And I think that should have happened on the last album. Yeah, I'm still waiting for that moment, so that's why I would say underrated. Why do you think perfectly rated, Abby? I'm very intrigued.
I selfishly, not that I want to gatekeep Caroline Polachek, but I don't want her to receive the mainstream success that leads to people being annoying about her. And like where she is right now, the people who know, the people who know appreciate, the critics appreciate, the albums are fabulous. I just want to keep it in that little bubble. I don't want the bubble to pop. And I think she's happy with that too. Do you know what I mean? It's like when we were talking about Ravyn Lenae before, where that is someone who is like striving to get bigger and bigger and like working on and not that Caroline isn't aspirational, I'm sure, but I have that fear of what happens when the masses, it's almost like Chapel sometimes. I think about her a lot and I think about, wow, if she was sort of, again, if she didn't hit that massive mainstream commercial success, would that have been, an almost better thing for her, like personally, and also for her fans and for her craft and for the way that she approaches music. And I feel, obviously Caroline's been in music a lot longer, but I don't think anyone's, again, it's almost like she's underrated in the way that she should have more fans, but the people who do listen to her, I don't think anyone's hating on it, Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, I'm in two worlds with this because I do agree with you, Abby. But then I also do like fantasize if we just like notched her up just a bit, like just to like Clairo level, like just to see what happens with what she'd do with a bigger budget is where I'm interested. Like,
or even like a Charlie. I feel like, I feel like they're similar ages and had that similar trajectory.
Can you imagine like the start of the Caroline Polachek Brat tour with her just wailing "Welcome to my island," like woo! It's an interesting thing to think about, but I definitely do think like there will be a lot of people who think that Caroline Polachek is underrated, and it's an interesting question because it's like, where do you envision her, and like is she sitting into that box, Because Caroline Polachek is never going to be like the next, I don't know, like Olivia Rodrigo or something, Like it's just not, it's not in the stars for her. But I do think there is like this alternative pocket in pop music right now where you can pretty comfortably sell out like Madison Square Gardens and still be making like weird music. And I would like to entertain a world in which Caroline Polachek can do that. So, yeah. I see both your points, but we will see where she lands when we come to our final three. I think it's my turn. The one I'm doing is perhaps one who's been rated and then underrated and then rated and then underrated again and just exists in this weird kind of like could be in the BB Rexa, Ava Max lane of pop, but is just like far too talented to like exist in this kind of like features realm of pop music, and that is Zara Larsson, somebody who's already been mentioned.
It's the midnight sun kiss, get under the red sky, laying on your chest like this. Hold me like the pebbles in your hand, initials in the sand, yeah. Summer isn't over yet.
She's having a moment right now, but it's not the moment that it should be. And this is when we talk about underrated, like where do I imagine her? I don't imagine her just being a little bit higher. I imagine her being at the top. Like this Tate McRae support act thing, like flip it. Because Zara Larsson has it. Her voice is next level, like on another level. Her dancing is obviously there in a way that not many of the pop acts have right now. Obviously, Tate really does have that in her wheelhouse. But at the same time, I think she's an artist who really understands a pop era at a time when I don't think enough artists understand it. Like, what she's done throughout her career is always make a really distinctive body of work, which is a really hard thing to do when you're battling against a label who's like, hey, why don't you just do another Clean Bandit song? You know, jump on a David Guetta feature. That's where they want her to be, and she's constantly fought against it. And with this moment, with the Midnight Sun thing, teaming back up with MNEK, making the pop music that she's designed and born to make, I just feel like finally we're getting to a point where Zara Larsson could break through on her own terms and become something that is really like a lot larger scale than what she should be. Like, Midnight Sun is the most noise she's made over here, at least in the US, for many, many years. I mean, outside of the dolphin meme. Nick, I know that you're like a massive Zara Larsson fan, and we've often had battles about how good she is because I haven't always been on board, but I see the vision now.
Thank you for coming to the table. She is singularly incredible. I've been interviewing her for over a decade now. And she, probably not over a decade, probably just close to a decade. She has always had a sense of humor, a very clear personality. She is funny and charismatic and like sassy, and I hate that word usually, but it kind of works perfectly for her. And she's very clear on who she is as an artist. I think there definitely has been some kind of internal struggles, and I think the fact that she's on this Tate McRae tour when she's having the biggest moment of her life, playing in, you know, Toronto, opening for Tate McRae, and you see it in the comments. They're like, this should be a Zara Larsson tour. She's doing her first Australian shows ever in January next year as the opening act for One Republic, which feels completely mismatched, and she should be here doing headline shows.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, that's what she's coming for. She's doing no headline shows, just One Republic support slots. And these are her first shows in this territory ever, a territory that's always backed her in, where she's had a #1 single in with Never Forget You. Like, I love her to bits, and you're totally right about the distinctive kind of sound that she's had over different bodies of work, and the way that she's galvanized a fan base as well. Like, I think she's done an incredible job of building a fan base that, you know, follows her through the eras, that is fighting for her. I mean, you only have to think about the Harry Daniels video, the first ever Harry Daniels video of him fighting with Ronnie in the streets, backing Zara Larsson in, an iconic moment in Zara Larsson lore. This, like, artist is... The fans are fiercely passionate about her, and yeah, I totally agree, and I really, really hope that she can take the success of this single, and what Crush appears to be starting to do as well, and keep pushing it. Yeah,
so good. Abby, do you think rated or underrated?
No, underrated for sure, and I'm curious to know what you both think is the thing stopping her from crossing that threshold into, I think, like, the fact that she's opening for Tate McRae is a really perfect, you know, representation of the level of success and the level of celebrity that she so deserves to be at. And for me, it was funny. With Midnight Sun, I really didn't like it when it first came out, and I felt like she was almost... wanted it too much, like wanted this hit, wanted this song of the summer, wanted this breakthrough. Like, I could almost see the strings being pulled as it was happening, and, you know, her being lifted in the air as she sung this like incredible note. I was sort of like, God, like, it was just a bit much, and the visuals and everything was a bit much.
Right.
And then it was one day when it came on shuffle on my phone, and I was just in my room. I was like cleaning my room or something, and it was like a switch flicked in my brain. And I think I messaged you, Sam, and I was like, or I posted on my story, I was like, this song, fine, it all makes sense. It was like everything came together, and I don't know what that was for me. It's like this really difficult thing to describe, but as soon as it locks in, it's like, oh, obviously, like, what are we all doing?
Oh, we're
like
here.
This girl should be a star. And I don't know, because again, it's all the things that we've discussed, you know, with these other artists so far. You know, someone like a Yeba, who might not have the big personality or the, you know, Gen Z humor that like really works with a, you know, a TikTok kind of audience. Zara has that. She's got the song, she's got the catalog, she's got the personality, she's got the vocals, she's got the movement, she's got everything. So I'm like, what is it that is stopping her from getting to the next level?
I think that there's a very small door that comes open every so often in pop music that lets in a pure pop, dance pop artist. And I feel like it happened with Katy Perry with Teenage Dream. It happened with Dua Lipa with Future Nostalgia. And I think that it just is like a kind of changing of the tides or something in the atmosphere that everybody's just like, okay, for this year, we're open to it, like a dance pop artist to break through. And I just think that if you don't catch that wave at that point and it's purely a luck thing, then we entertain different genres. I think even though we think that dance pop is the purest form of pop music and like totally going for this mainstream kind of thing, in terms of artistry, like dance pop is one of the more underrated things. People usually tend to like something a little bit edgier, a little bit slower tempo, or like in a country or hip hop lane. So I just think it's so difficult outside of Europe to sustain a career making this kind of music, and Tate has made it really defiantly almost and never wavered from doing it. And so I think at times she's broken through, but then people have been like, well, are you going to make a hip hop song to like keep up with what's going on now? Or are you going to make a country song? Like, why is Chris Stapleton not on your album? You know, she's almost like Kylie and Carly Rae Jepsen in the way that she's just stuck so steadfast to that kind of thing. And that's the only reason I can think of that it hasn't happened.
Yeah, I back that.
Abby, your final underrated artist.
I am taking pride in the fact that I think my final choice is maybe potentially the smallest artist who is going to be mentioned on this podcast. But again, as my list shuffled around, this artist would bounce out and then come back in. And I think in this moment, it's something I've been thinking about a lot that she deserves in the context of the music that she makes, in the context of the country she's from, which is Australia. I think she deserves to, I think she's so deeply underrated. My final artist is Nina Geraci.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, wow.
Let me explain.
My final artist is also Australian, so I thought that you were going
So is
my
mine.
way. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're kidding me.
We're at the local round. Gorgeous.
The local round, great.
The local round. We the home round. I just think, particularly in the context of Australian dance music, have I frozen?
No, you're good.
Fine. Okay, good. Because you both froze for a second and then I got stressed.
I was just listening intently.
Gorgeous. In the context of Australian dance music and EDM, which has flourished so much internationally with artists like Fisher and Dom Dollar and Alice in Wonderland, who are so massive internationally, I think that Nina Geraci truly deserves to be at the top of that tree. Like, she has been working so hard for so many years. She is so incredibly young. She's been releasing music for, I think, just under 10 years, and she's in her early 20s. And this album that she's just put out, the debut album, is genuinely, I think, perfect from top to tail. And I just think she should be, if we're talking about that kind of like the roof of where their success could be, I think she truly has the potential to be an international superstar in EDM, in dance music, especially after, the brat summer of 2024, and people have more of an appetite for abrasive, gritty, sexy electronic music. Nina Geraci makes that in a way that I think there are very few female DJs and producers, unfortunately, in the genre. And I just think that she hits that note. And it is one of those things, like so many of the artists that we've mentioned, where as soon as you do, it's like a discoverability thing. It's not a matter of, you find her music and then you're not sure about it. It's like when it hits, it hits. And when people find her music and it finds the right audience, like they're locked in for good. So yeah, that's why Nina's my final pick.
I've heard so many people talk about this record in spaces that I wouldn't expect over the past month, particularly like outside of Australia, because I think we've become, like, obviously we know Nina's name, like she's been so present for anybody who's like excited about music within Australia. But to hear her name being mentioned like over here is really cool. And obviously this album is like breaking through in a way that her others haven't before. And the coolest thing is like it's purely based on the quality of it. I think that's like amazing. And I feel like this is going to be a real game changer of a year for her coming up. Nick, I know that you've got a geographical connection to Nina Geraci.
We are both currently missing from, but should be on the Gosford High School alumnus page on Wikipedia. We went to the same high school.
Who's
made it over
who
you
made
guys?
it?
It's all fucking politicians and sports people and shit. It's like, put some interesting
come on.
individuals on their place.
Yeah. Our next episode's going to be the best alumni from our school.
I have some sad news, guys. I'm so sorry to break this here on the podcast.
What?
Nina Wilson, musician, is on the notable alumni page.
Are you kidding? Are you actually
It's just
joking?
you, Nick. It's
just you, Nick.
I am so mad. Because I can't
You
do it
almost
myself.
stopped my heart. I thought you were about to announce like Beyonce's been in a car accident or something. I'm like, don't do this to me live on the podcast.
Nina Wilson is on the notable alumni.
It's on the cost. That's a recent addition because I checked this before I chatted to her a few weeks ago. Just to really, as I Google Gosford High School, my own high school, just to really reiterate, she has been consistently globally touring. Fucking Nina Wilson musician. I give up. That she's been consistently globally touring and had a solid fan base in the US that's been coming to these shows, and they've been building every time since before the pandemic. Like it's been that long that she's built this fan base internationally at the same time. So she's built it in Australia, built it in the US at the very same time, and I think that's been really exciting to watch. Musically, I love an artist that's inspired by... I'm getting really excited by people who are inspired by stuff that I don't consider to be old music because I'm 30 now. Stuff that like I got into in like my mid to late teens. And there's a wave of artists coming through, particularly out of this country right now, that grew up on Madeon and grew up on Porter Robinson and grew up on like...
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and she is one of them. And I think the commitment to this sort of... It's a little bit cutesy, it's a little bit sexy, it's a little bit gritty and dirty, it's a little bit sort of pristine and pretty kind of pop. Like, she's melted all of these worlds together. But then the way that she tells a story as well, she underrates
100%.
herself as a vocalist as well, and as a singer. I think she's got this lovely light tone to her that kind of glides over the top of these beats no matter what they sound like, and the way that she produces her own vocals is amazing. And she has this wonderful humility to her that I think makes you want her to win as a fan as well. She is so kind and generous to her fans and genuine with them. There's no sort of... There's no airs and graces about her. She's not trying to come across as cool. She simply is cool by being kind and down to earth. And I think that's something that is often missing in a lot of music genres in terms of branding yourself, is people trying to be cool by being unapproachable, whereas Nina is the most approachable and down-to-earth musician you could possibly find, who spends genuine quality time with her fans, and you want her to win. So yeah, amazing call, Abby. Like, yeah.
We want her to win. We're obviously now big fans of Nina Geraci on the Pop Pod. I think that's really cool that we get to discuss her in this setting. Nick, who is your final underrated choice?
Okay, so I toyed with whether this was a good call in the current climate where she's having a little bit of a moment of hatred from the lesbian community.
Don't you dare.
No, Nick.
Don't
You're
you
kidding
dare,
me.
Nick.
I have to. I have written for this woman for over a decade. Betty Who is an underrated artist. It's gotta be Betty Who.
No comment.
Now I don't feel like I can continue.
Wow.
I mean, you can have a sentence or two, but it's gonna fall on deaf ears, I think.
Fuck. great songwriter. Okay, I'm gonna go to a backup because I can't
This was
have
also
this.
my TikTok dark hole last night. I was just like non-stop. I'm like, what has this woman done? So I'm very like educated on this subject right now.
I'm gonna do
I
it.
can't believe this final round should have been me picking Jojo Siwa, Nick picking
Yeah.
Betty Who, and Sam picking Fletcher, and it could have been it could have been the queer to trad wife pipeline.
Okay,
Round.
pretend I never said it.
Well, you don't
Pretend I
know that
never
mine
said
is
it.
not Fletcher.
No,
bringing-
keep it in. You have to keep it in.
No.
No,
I'm
you've
switching-
said it now.
I'm fucking switching.
You've thrown your final choice out.
I'm off you all. Okay, I pick Isaac Dunbar.
I'll dream about your fingers on me. You tell me that I'm wrong. I'll tell myself you'll always want me. You say I think too much, but I thought you were my love.
He's only 22 years old, has
Perfect.
released multiple bodies of work that have had different genres to them and different eras to them, is the closest artist to Prince that I can find in the world right now. He is non-stop superstar status. He's gone from glitchy electro pop to dark kind of Billie Eilish style pop and now into this sort of funk space that is unbelievable. And at the age of 22, like, he's been consistently releasing amazing music for over 8 years, and I think has the potential to be a global superstar, and I think we'll get to that point at some point, but without wavering from like self-discovery, the kind of self-discovery that you do in your early 20s. Yeah, Isaac Dunbar, and not the other one.
I love that you've just you did that with the element of pressure that I wanted to hear. To be honest, there was a breathlessness to the way that you delivered that I really
prepare a hasty
appreciated.
case.
And
But
it
also
did
just
make-
the way that whoever it was going to be would be marred and clouded by the...
I know. I could feel the
shadow
cloud
of
lifting as
Betty
you got to
Who.
the end of that. Because I very much agree with that. I think 22 is crazy. Isaac is super talented and like has been on my radar for so long as an amazing pop artist. I'm rushing now too, not because of the cancelled moment in the podcast, but because this podcast is now running very long. But Abby, give us like a thumbs up or thumbs down on Isaac Dunbar.
Hell yeah.
And now
up.
Betty Who.
Oh! Now there's fireworks.
Yes!
And now there's fireworks. No, just me, babe. Just me.
Fuck! It's the Betty
me.
Who gods have stopped me from having fireworks.
I don't know how I'm going to speak for this final artist and give her the platform that she deserves right now at this very moment, but I just want to do a short spiel. When I was putting together my underrated artists, I was not even like really thinking about repping for an Australian artist, even though I do like when I am able to do that. But this artist genuinely, I think, has made such a like exquisite discography, and there are very few artists on this planet where I'm like, I just want to hear whatever they've written. I just want to hear the lyrics, and I don't really care about the setting that it's in, to be honest. Like Lana Del Rey is one of them, where I just love to hear her like lyricism and her songwriting, and I'm like, give me 15 ballads on an album, I will sit and listen, and I feel that way about Mallrat.
I just think it's someone else's turn for getting hurt. I'm starting to believe that this is something that could work. Wanna say I'm sorry, didn't mean to brush you off. Built up my defenses and I'm always acting tough. But I just wanna see you when I open up the door. I think I'm gonna miss you and it's time to go on tour.
I think that she is somebody
Knew
that I
it.
followed obviously for a very long time. If you're listening from Australia, like Mallrat is obviously a pretty big deal, but I still think that she needs to be bigger. And the reason that I feel like she needs to be bigger at this particular moment is because this is the very moment that pop music is in, where we're able to appreciate artists like Clairo or even Billy or even Lana, you know, those artists that are like not extremely commercial leaning, but really place a focus on their storytelling and their lyricism, and also just have such a direct connect with the audience, and the way that Morat sings, like the way her vocals are so always up front on the track and it feels like she's whispering in your ear. There was something so haunting about her most recent record. Just so beautiful, delivered in like extremely like horrific circumstances for her personally, but a shining light to me. Honestly, there are so many songs on that album that just do it for me. Pavement being one of them, Defibrillator being another one, just like beautiful. And I feel like she is an artist who can very much exist at just before the top, like in that kind of like alternative pop star who can also play at 8 p.m. at a festival. Like that's exactly where she can be globally, not only in Australia.
Well done. Very good call.
100%.
I didn't.
Here.
I actually forgot. To
Is there
think
anyone
about
who
that.
hates her? Because like,
No, I that's the thing. I feel like she's the princess of Australian music. She has also, similarly to Nina Geraci, but I mean for even longer, has been releasing gorgeous music. And like, name an artist who has a song like Charlie in their back pocket, but also a collab with Azealia Banks. Like, we don't talk about that.
Right.
I remember that was
Right.
there was like a crack in the matrix that happened when I realized that she was going to be putting out a song with her, because
an
that doesn't
incredible Azealia Banks verse.
really
nonetheless.
good, really good. And also someone who, again, like Nina, is like deeply just cool but kind and very authentic, and there's no one else like her. And I remember seeing her back in the day when she was opening for Maggie Rogers, and like the performance and the songs have evolved in such a beautiful way, but just the essence of her as an artist really hasn't. And I think that's why people stick around and really like root for her in the way that they do.
I'm very struck by her like unfiltered presence in whatever she does. Like, even speaking to her in person, she just has a real like genuineness to her that carries across the music so effortlessly. And I think that's incredibly rare, to not change that persona at all from day to day to your art. Like, if anyone hasn't listened to Morat on this podcast, you're in for a treat. And you're in for a treat as well with Nina Geraci, as well, two fine Australian artists, and Isaac Dunbar as well, who's not Australian, but also these
And
are probably...
Betty Who.
Because my Australian was cancelled. Jesus Christ.
You're in for a treat with her cover of I Love You Always Forever.
Oi!
It keeps getting better.
Okay, here's what I want you to do now. I want you to take one. Just take one from the artists that you've mentioned and throw them into battle, because we need to come up with the ultimate underrated artist. So, Abby, just take one from your collection.
I'm going Yeba. I'm taking her into battle.
Okay.
Back her in.
Wow, I feel like you had a... Okay, I won't question it, but Nick, you next.
You would have gone Ravyn?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say anything because I want to win this, but...
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it was
throw.
amazing.
I'll throw MNEK in.
Okay, I'm gonna throw Zara in. I'll stick with Zara.
Okay.
Honestly, I like Abby. I feel like you had the win with Ravyn.
Really?
I would have signed it off. We could have gone
Wait,
home.
can I
would have been
change
in
it?
bed
Can I
by
change
now.
it?
No, you wouldn't let me change it.
He got to have his Betty Who to Isaac Dunbar moment.
That's
I get
true,
to have
that's true.
I get to have my
No.
edit, and I'm putting in Ravyn Lenae as my favorite. See, she's so underrated. She's so underrated that I didn't even pick her from my
She's
three.
even
That's how
underrated by
underrated
you.
she is. Exactly. And that's why I'm putting her forward. See? This is what happens. This is what
Look,
happens.
in that case, if you're going to go with Ravyn, I have to
I'm
give
going with
Ravyn
Ravyn.
the win. But I will, of course, rep for Zara and MNEK as a duo, because what they're
Yeah.
doing right now together is
Wow,
as
true.
a duo. So the winner is Ravyn Lenae. The runner-up is MNEK and Zara Larsson sharing the platform together.
beautiful.
And in third
Trigger the
place, of
fireworks.
course, Betty. Yeah, you do the fireworks.
Oh wait, what did I do last time?
I think
You put your thumbs up and it did it. If we could sign this off with a firework, that would be fantastic. But it's definitely
It's given
not
up.
going
It's
to
had
happen.
enough. Nothing. Crickets.
Thank you
Nothing.
to Nick and Abby for joining me for this. This was such a fun opportunity to speak passionately about some of the artists that we feel are hard done by If you want to listen to Abby, you can hear her on Triple J on The Drive Show, which is in the afternoons. Otherwise, well, after The Drive Show, you can then switch to Nick Kelly on the Hit Network to listen to, what do you call it, the Hot Hits?
The Hot Hits from 7 to 10 p.m. Australian time, available on the Listener app. That's Listener without any E's in it.
Beautifully sold. Thanks, guys. This was a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Pop Pod. Don't forget to follow or subscribe and whatever. Just have a good day. See you later.
5 stars!
Keeps getting better. That's gonna be the outro. How things just.